everyone, and welcome to SporTView. I'm Jay Wyman, along with my co-host, Tom Emmons. How are you, Tom?
Hey, Jay.
We haven't had a show for a little while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Good to be back in the studio.
It's good to be back here in the studio because the throngs and the multitudes have been asking for this, and if you ask for it, this is what you're going to get. So.
Well, my mom has wanted to see a new show.
She is the one. So you got some information for us.
Some alumni news. Okay. We're going to interview an alumni in just a few minutes. But there was some alumni news. Class of 2011, Kevin Lamarck, football player extraordinary, tackle, offensive and defensive tackle, played on the 2009, 2010 Super Bowl teams here at Holliston. Well, he went on to Alfred University, and he was named a Division III All-American at Alfred University. So that's a big doing.
It's a big honor. Yes, it is.
Yeah. 2013, class of 2013, Christina Belforti. Now, she went to Worcester Academy, where she graduated from, but she swam here for the Holliston Co-op swim team, was a state, if not a state champ, but, up in the mix for state swimming. Another All-American champ in the 200 backstroke at Union College.
Wow.
So, Holliston names out there. And then last but not least, class of 2015, Brad Arvanitis, who was a star goalie here for the Holliston Panthers, took them to the playoffs a few times, actually made the most saves of any goalie in the entire state his senior year. He went on to play junior hockey after he graduated Holliston. He has just been accepted to be the goalie at UMass Amherst, Division I program.
So, good program.
Doing well, and UMass has a up-and-coming Division I program, and he'll be the goaltender next year.
Well, Holliston sent a UMass player to UMass several years ago, Greg Malden, who ended up playing professionally. So there is a little history there with UMass and in Holliston.
Mm-hmm. So good to see Holliston alumni doing well.
Awesome. And speaking of Holliston alumni doing well, we have an interview for you now that I think everyone's really going to like. Pay attention to this, because if you want to feel good about yourself, maybe you want to lose a few pounds, maybe you want to bulk up, kind of look like Tom and I, we got an interview with Holliston alumni Dave Dubin, who's going to talk to us a little bit about his new business here in Holliston called Crossfit Firewall.
And we're glad to have on the show Holliston High School alumni, class of 2012, Dave Dubin, new co-owner of a business in Holliston, CrossFit Firewall. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you again, Dave.
Good to see you.
Tom's going to go over a little bit about your football bio, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into a little bit about what you're doing at CrossFit.
Well, we always like to talk football here on SportView, and you were part of a number of good Panther teams, 2010, 2011, your senior year, a 9-2 team that went all the way to the playoffs and had a number of exciting games. You played on both offensive and the defensive side of the ball, and catching the ball at 13 catches, a 19.5 average, which is a lot for a tight end. Usually you're catching the short passes, but which did you like better, offense or defense?
Definitely defense. Like going for the sacks more than the catches.
You'd rather hit than be hit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And what was the best part about the 2011 season? What are memories that stick out for you?
I would definitely say probably going to the Super Bowl, obviously being in Gillette. I know we made it in 2010, but obviously getting a chance to go back again. And then I think one of the best parts was obviously walking into halftime, being up, going into it, and just knowing that usually you wouldn't want to say that you're going to win the game, but everyone was so high and just everyone was like high in energy. You just know that no one's going to let up, and we were just very confident in finishing that game strong and just finally just making up for the previous season, just being in the locker room with everyone just being all jacked up and ready to go out and just finish it off.
Mm-hmm. They talk about your junior year, 2010 at Gillette, right? I mean, they're just an incredible experience. Whole town there cheering you guys on. It meant a lot to everybody.
Yeah. And it is tough coming back. I mean, now we've seen they've won back-to-back, but going there the first year losing and then coming back, that's pretty impressive. And then pulling out a win, and then coming so close again the next year, right? In 2011.
It was close. Yeah.
I mean, there were no league losses for the Panthers in 2011, and just that one close game to Auburn, which questionable call. You know, we both thought from the replay that Dan Barone, that interception that he ran back for a touchdown, shouldn't have been called back. You know?
Right.
I know. Yep, we were told that. We were told that by a ref that he made the wrong call.
Is that right?
He actually contacted Coach Kiley, and he told us the following Saturday that he knew he made the wrong call after reviewing, because we sent him the film.
Yeah.
And it wasn't supposed to be called back. So
wow.
That made it even worse, actually, in that call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the team didn't lose any momentum because you got all the way to the last game of the regular season on Thanksgiving against Westwood, your arch rivals, and a win against Westwood was going to send you into the playoffs, and that turned into a huge win for Holliston, 27-0. Yeah. What do you remember about the Thanksgiving Day game?
That was always a great game. I mean, everyone gets pretty hyped about that game just because it's Westwood, and we know like you got to be on point for that game because you know there's going to be a lot of talking back and forth, and you got to be able to control everything. But I mean, I think I remember it was my first time I hurled somebody, and it was right before halftime. I remember I got a pass, and we were told to run out of bounds, and I saw an opportunity, and I just took it. And as I could hear people saying, just go down or go out of bounds, I just, nope,
no way.
We're already up 20-0. I was like, I'm going for it.
Go right over the top.
Yeah, totally worth it.
One of the top HCAT highlights we had of that season. That was a fun one. And go ahead.
Then you went into the buzzsaw up at Concord Carlisle, up in where we were in Lowell, I think.
Lowell,
Lowell. And that was a great game. I mean, a great comeback, and really, it was one of those things where if it was baseball without a clock, we probably would have won the game at the end. But that's the way it worked out. And they had a fabulous running back too up there.
Yeah.
So you guys did a great job.
That was a good game.
Very good game.
And then after graduation in 2012, you went on to Springfield College. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I actually went to Springfield to play football. So I actually showed up for pre-camp, and then I was planning on doing football and then wrestling as well at Springfield, and actually had a little change of plans and decided to switch over completely to wrestling because that was definitely one of my favorite sports in high school, but I wasn't getting as much attention for that sport going into college, but I was just going to do it as like a kind of a backup and do it just for fun type. And I decided it was going to be a lot of work, like school load and stuff like that, so I kind of pushed more towards just doing wrestling, and I think I liked it a lot better. I mean, football definitely was a great high school sport for me, but I think coming into college, it was a better decision for me to do wrestling.
Coming back a little bit, back up a second here, and how'd you do wrestling in high school?
High school, I think I did pretty well. I think I won the All-State Championship match my senior year, and then third in New England. So it was
what weight?
182.
182.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was a long season, but it's definitely well worth it.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, did you also, what was your major at Springfield?
Applied exercise science. So I was applied exercise science with a minor pacification in strength and conditioning.
So you're working out year round. You're studying, studying all that. Really, the seeds being sown for your, career path you've taken now.
Yeah. So I actually was full blown into wrestling, and then so my career now is owning the CrossFit gym in Holliston, and I actually never had done CrossFit really except in high school. I actually took a class with Glenn D'Avanza, who's a teacher at Holliston High School, and I actually hated the class because I didn't want to work out and do CrossFit or do wrestling at the same time. It was cutting weight, and it was kind of during the middle of the day, so it kind of was putting a lot of pressure on my body the whole time. I was really not into it until actually after my freshman year in college, where I took an internship doing CrossFit, and that's where I really fell in love with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this something you plan to do throughout your college career? Or is this something that just happened upon after you?
So it happened upon I kind of needed to find an internship around the area, so I looked locally for a CrossFit gym. And actually, it was my mom's idea to go check it out, and I said no because I didn't like it in high school, so I didn't think I'd like it. But I actually went on over there, looked for the internship. I ended up getting it, and then after that, I actually only wrestled my freshman year in college. So I stopped that once I found CrossFit that summer, and ended up starting a CrossFit club at Springfield College for the remainder of 3 years
did you
at
really?
Springfield. Yep. So we had around 25 kids in the club constantly throughout the year. Some teachers stopping in and there, and so it was a good precursor to to starting the gym after college.
And what did the club do? What things did you organize through them?
So we were a CrossFit club, but we met 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, at least an hour and a half each day doing a workout, whether it was bodyweight workouts, strength and conditioning training, stuff like that, going for runs. And we actually went to a local CrossFit gym down the road on the weekends. So it was everyday type thing. It was good getting people in the gym.
Maybe we should back up a little bit. Tell us what
is CrossFit?
Give us a working definition of CrossFit, because it does get thrown around a lot.
We know what it's not.
Well, speak for yourself.
So CrossFit's really just like functional training. It's functional movement training. So you look at the typical training regimen that people follow today is going to like a Gold's Gym, showing up on your own, going through like a treadmill warm-up or like a bike, and then going through stationary machines like the bicep curl machine or the leg curl machine. And CrossFit kind of takes away those machines, because what it is, it's teaching you to be functional in like everyday life. So it's like you're not going to be, if you're picking something up from the ground, you're not going to be in a machine or holding anything. Or sitting down, really, because all the machines they use at Gold's Gym are isolated. They're sitting down and they're isolating one muscle, where in CrossFit we use free weights, where you're forced to use like your stabilizing muscles and actually the muscles that you need to actually function in daily life, as opposed to a Gold's Gym where you're sitting down the whole time when you're working out. I mean, we sit down enough every day eating, going to school, going to work and stuff like that, where it's at CrossFit, you're really, what we like to say is, at CrossFit, you're the machine, because when you walk into a gym, it's kind of an open space, and we just have barbells, and people say, oh, where are all the machines? Like you see at Gold's Gym, people say, well, you're the machine, you're doing all the work yourself. So it's more...
The machine is focusing on one set of muscles at a time, and you're focusing on the whole
body
motion.
as one. Yeah. So like in life, like you got to do functional movements like a deadlift when you're picking something up. So you do those movements. You've got, if you're picking something up to your shoulder height, we do power cleans, where you're actually using your legs and your hips to use your kind of momentum, get up to that front rack position. It's just all functional movements. Like you're always moving in the gym, and you're using every muscle pretty much every day you come in, as opposed to just focusing on a back day or a chest day at the gym.
Yeah.
It's a good pump, but it really doesn't transfer over to everyday life. And what we're trying to focus on is at CrossFit is helping you, prepare you to kind of crush life.
Yeah. That's interesting. And then you get into running and the aerobics and that stuff too.
Running's all done there. Rowing. We do some biking. So it's really everything's involved in CrossFit. It's just no machines.
Age limits. What type of age limits is it?
No age limits.
No?
Actually, we vary from, we have a kids class, we have a 5-year-old, and then we actually have I think she's 71 years old. So it goes all the way from 5 to 71 for us, but it's really anyone can do CrossFit, because how it is, people see CrossFit on TV, it's kind of intense. You see the CrossFit Games, I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's the crazy athletes that are throwing up tons of weight, and people are like, oh, I can't do that. But really, you come into the gym, everything's kind of modified down to what you're at, kind of your base level. So you're not forced to, like, you're not going to walk in and be like, have to deadlift 500 pounds. You're going to scale it down a little bit, learn the movement, and then kind of build up in your own kind of way, where you're taking your time, however long it takes you to learn the movement, and then you'll start adding weight to it.
So would you consider you have personal trainers, so each person, you develop a course for each person?
Yeah, so you come in, CrossFit's based it's really for everyone, and it's in a group setting. So there's usually one coach per class when it's up, at least 1 to 15 people. Once it's really over that, we'll try and add another coach to class, because what it really is group exercise or personal training in a group setting. So you're kind of getting that one-on-one coaching, but with a group of people. Because what we're doing is, throughout the class, it's an hour long, you'll have time where the trainer's going around correcting people's form, and then every class we'll go over the movement that we're doing in that class, just full-blown in detail, and break it down completely for everyone. So there could be one person in the class that's been there for day one, or someone who's been doing it for 10 years. They're all going to do the same thing, but they're going to be at different levels. So that day one person will probably be with an empty bar, lightweight, going through the motions, just learning the movement, as opposed to the person who's been there for 10 years. They'll actually be adding a lot of weight on the bar, or whatever the workout calls for, because they're more into it, and they've actually had a longer training experience with CrossFit.
And are there, different stations? Is that the way you would do it?
So there's no real stations. So actually, I'll give a good example today for class. Actually, we had a strength was deadlift. So they worked up basically to a heavy 3-rep max for deadlift. So we go over the deadlift in the warm-up. We warm up those muscles that you're going to be using, like your back muscles, your hamstrings, everything. We warm that all together because everyone's doing the same movement. So everyone's easily stay together for that part. Then we break up and do the strength work kind of individually, so everyone gets about 20 minutes to build up to that 3-rep max deadlift. And in that time, our coaches walk around, they'll check your form, kind of make sure everyone gets that personal training aspect of their making sure they're lifting correctly and everything. So in that 20 minutes, that's time for that 10-year person who's been doing it for a while to really work up to their heavy weight, and it gives us time to work with that person who's their day one to really make sure they're doing it right so they can become that 10-year person who's really lifting a lot of weight and doing it correctly. So they have that time to do that during our designated 20-minute block of that day what we had today. Also, and then there's the conditioning aspect at the end. So there's strength in the beginning, conditioning at the end. So today we had what it was a 1-minute AMRAP. So an AMRAP, you're probably wondering, what is that? So it's as many rounds as possible. That's what the AMRAP is. So they have 1 minute to do 15 deadlifts at a light weight, and then in the remaining time do as many sit-ups as they can. So say they get those deadlifts done in 15 seconds, they'll have 45 seconds to do as many sit-ups as they can in that 1 minute block. They'll rest a minute and they'll do that 5 times.
Yeah, what do you have to do to, if let's say I wanted to go down on a joint,
Yep.
am I expected to go every day? Or how
So what we tell people to do if they're first joining is I tell them to come every day when they're joining. I tell them not to go all out every day, but be a sponge, ask questions, and be like, all right, today I'm really going to focus. I'm going to do the workout and really kind of not push yourself, but really give a good effort. Next day, you're probably feeling a little sore because this is your first day. You're going to come in, just kind of be there, listen, ask questions about the movement for that day, just so you can absorb everything and get the most out of each day. Once you're kind of into a training period and you've been there for about a couple months, people try to start to follow like a 3-day on working out, take a day off. 2 days on, take a day off. So usually a lot of people take Thursdays off and Sundays off. So, I mean, usually get into that method, but it's also jobs get in the way. So people come so variably that it's hard to follow for some people a certain schedule.
And so are you open every day?
We're open every day.
What are your hours?
So during the week, we're open from our first class starts at 5:30 in the morning. Our last class usually ends at 7 o'clock at night, 7 to 8. So we're really open from 5 to 8 every day, pretty much. And then the weekends, we're open from basically 7 to, I think it's 2. So a good amount of hours. I mean, it varies hours throughout that day. It's all on the website, but it varies in hours, but we're pretty much there all day. And some people who can't make certain hours, we kind of allow them to come in, do their own work on their own. If we're there, we can kind of guide them through stuff. But we offer a good amount of hours during the day.
Well, where is your gym located, and what is your website?
So we're located at 72 Jeffrey Ave in Holliston. So if you're looking at Holliston Pediatrics, we're right to the left of them. And then our website is just CrossfitFirewall.com. Pretty easy. Follow onto it. Have all our hours on there, pricing, stuff like that, and events coming up.
Excellent. And we talked a little bit before the show. Competitions, you haven't really started that yet, right?
Yep. So people at the gym right now, we haven't had many people compete. We've had like 1 or 2 of our athletes going to go off and do competitions. But really right now, being a new startup gym, a lot of our members are new and just learning about CrossFit and really getting into it. So they're really taking a step back and really focusing on the movements first. And then we also have like 10 to 15 athletes who are pretty good athletes and they'll want to start competing pretty soon. So we'll start doing that and even hosting competitions at our facility.
Competing in CrossFit activities versus their own sport, or?
Well, some people, they will compete in CrossFit, and we have some people compete in, like, say, cycling or something outside of CrossFit. So really, big thing about CrossFit is it's working out, but then it's also you want to try other sports. Like we have people doing flag football, stuff like that, tournaments, but really don't have any people competing, like in, say, in a professional sport or anything like that.
And you said earlier, for all ages, this is for everybody. I mean, if somebody wanted to work on losing weight or this or that.
Exactly. So it's pretty crazy. So we have an athlete of the month every month. So someone who shows up on time is a good kind of positive aspect to our community and stuff like that. I mean, everybody is, but there's usually that one person that sticks out that's really pushing it. So we have only had 2 athletes of the month so far. So we're on our 3rd month. We're actually in the process of announcing our 3rd athlete of the month. But our first 2 have actually lost 25 plus pounds in the first 2 months. So they've drastically changed.
I'm sorry, do you do anything with diets with these people, or is it just CrossFit?
So we tell people, I mean, the big thing is diet, so we can only do so much in that hour, and what you do in that hour is going to be very good towards losing weight, but it's a big thing with diet. So we don't have a nutrition background, but we do have a basis of knowledge where we can give you what we've been through, what other athletes have been successful with, and then we are actually thinking of bringing on a nutritionist onto our staff as well to help people to do nutrition challenges and stuff. But really, people who come every day and actually give their effort that hour of the day, they've been losing weight and getting much more tone, so building muscle. A lot of problems that girls have when they come to the gym is they don't want to get bulky, they don't want to get big, but really you won't. You have to build up a little muscle because that kind of gets your metabolism going, and you start burning more weight during the day on your own without working out. So it really starts them off on the right step coming to the gym every day.
Very good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
great to meet an alumni,
Yep.
Holliston alumni doing well, especially with the business in
Yep.
town. And your business partner also.
Yes, Alex Buckler.
Also,
Yep.
Holliston grad.
Yep.
So we wish you both the best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Appreciate
sure you do
it.
well. CrossFit Firewall.
Yep.
And Jeffrey Ave. Look it up, or Google it, whatever. And thank you very much,
Hey,
Dave. I wish you
appreciate
all
it.
the best. I think it's
Thank
really
you.
cool you guys are doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dave Dubin, proud owner of CrossFit Firewall here in Holliston. It's
really great when these kids get an education here in town. They leave town, go to college, they come back, and they start to run these businesses and everything. I think it's really impressive. It's just, this isn't just someone going out and getting a job. He's putting everything on the line, starting a new business, and we should support him. Number one, because he went to Holliston. Number two, because he's a Holliston business. But number three, he's just a really good kid.
Yeah, no, you love his enthusiasm, and makes you want to join one of the classes where he's the trainer involved. Yeah. But you're right about opening a new business. I mean, he's just graduated from college and opening his own business. I mean that's the heavy lifting right there. He talked about the hours he's got to put in to make it successful.
Yeah. So good luck to Dave, and we'll get him on some other times. Maybe we'll go up there and roll some tires or do something.
Oh yeah, tire rolling. Yeah. I do that when I get a flat.
Yeah, the only time you do it. Okay, we're going to review a little bit about the winter sports season. Start off first with the girls gymnastic team. That's a team, Tom, that has Holliston, Medway, and Millis together. Yeah. And we had a real big star in that team, Danielle Brucato. She finished fifth in the. The team finished fifth in the state championships, but Danielle came in first in the states in the vault. Mm-hmm. She came in eighth in all around, and then she went up to the New Englands and finished sixth in the vault and finished ninth all around in New England. She's had a heck of a career here at Holliston.
It's really an amazing season she had. She was named a 2017 All Scholastic by the Boston Globe, and last year she was the a Gymnast of the Year as a junior. So really a tremendous talent here from Holliston High School.
Yeah, you really don't hear a lot about gymnastics, but she just has done a great job. That's the name that we keep hearing all the time, the Holliston Gymnastics. So nice job for the Holliston Medway Millis team.
And we've talked about how the co-op teams that are a great way where a school, I mean, back in my day, there was a gymnastics team, boys and girls gymnastics team. Now you're able to keep the athletes going through their high school career, connecting with other high schools.
Yeah, it's really cool. Wrestling team, they had an okay season. They were 3-4, but senior Rufus Koblenzer, right? Koblenzer. Sorry, Rufus. I'm sorry. He's going to come and smash me now. He won the Division III state championship at the 113 weight. Did a nice job there. And both he and freshman Brian Gary, Brian wrestled at 106 as a freshman, they were both rated in the top 10 in the state by masswrestling.com for their individual weight classes. So at the 113, Rufus and Brian at the 106 weight class. And
that's tremendous.
It really is. It's wrestling. I say this all the time. It's the toughest sport. It's brutal, and these kids. You not only have to be physically strong and the aerobics in it, but you got to be really smart because you got to know moves and twists and turns and everything. So, congratulations to them.
It is brutal, and I think Koblenzer, if I'm not wrong, I thought I read that he's the first state champ since Dave Dubin.
There you go.
So had them both on the mentioned on the same show.
Yeah.
Also, Sam Goldberg and Eli Goldfarb, along with Gary and Koblenzer, were named All-Stars, Tri-Valley League All-Stars.
Nice, very good. So the wrestling team, kudos to them.
Yep.
Girls track had a good season. Indoor track, 6-1-1 for their record. They won just one loss, and they had a tie and a win. Boys track went 5-3. So they had a good season. Of course, they're all outside now, the track teams. Something that's near and dear to your heart, hockey. The girls ice hockey team, they play with Medway, right? It's co-op. They finished 11-7-5, and I think, did you do some of their games?
We did some of their games, and they made the playoffs this year. Again, for the 9th year in a row. That's a co-op with Medway, Ashland, and actually one player from Millis. And so it did some games. It was hard for me to not say, let's go Panthers a lot, but because it was the Mustangs. But it's an up-and-coming sport, and their top goal scorer, Ashley Fondo, who's a senior this year, is actually the all-time leading goal scorer for that Medway Ashland team. She had 54 goals and 54 assists in her her 4-year career.
Yeah, it's a good sport too, because it's done in a lot of colleges, and I know several guys that I used to work with had daughters going in. They got full boats to some really impressive schools because they were able to play in the college. I guess it's women's hockey. So congratulations to the girls hockey team. They did a nice job. You also did the boys hockey team, 7-8-5, just missing out on the playoffs.
Just missed it out. Oh my gosh! I mean, the Tri-Valley League is such a tough division. I mean, top schools like Medway, Westwood, Medfield are some of the best teams in the state. Hopkinton got really close to Division 3 state title this year, and so Ashland was tough. We did that game. That was a 2-1 loss. The Panthers lost, but it came right down to the end, and just needed one more win to make the playoffs. But a good effort, and they've got a new coach and a new attitude, and it was really enjoyable to cover their games.
Young team? Were they young or?
Yeah, very young team.
Good. So they got a lot coming back.
Yeah, kind of a mix. So they've got a number of players that are coming back, something to look forward to.
That's great. And speaking of players coming back and something to look forward to, the boys basketball team this year had a phenomenal year, 15-5 in the regular season. Of course, they lost. They came in, I say, 4th in the division. They had to flip a coin between them and Concord Carlisle to 4th and 5th, so you could say they tied for 4th. And they ended up going to Concord Carlisle and losing a really close game, a game they played really well, and they were right in it right up until the last.
They were ahead at halftime.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game.
They really had a chance to shock the world. That's a tough gym to go up there to Concord Carlisle. Beautiful facility, but it was packed out, and that was their home gym, and the Panthers did not back down, had that lead at halftime. 3 minutes to go, it was a 3-point game.
Yeah,
and then just got away a little right there at the end. But
and it was packed. There were a lot of Holliston fans there too.
Yeah,
you know, especially the
Panthers travel well for those.
They
things.
really do in all the sports. They travel well. And you know, we had talked about this in the game, and they're a young team. They got a lot of people coming. They're losing. You know, they're losing a little bit too because they had some really good
seniors that they lost. So they're losing some good ones.
But I think if they stick together and they play a lot of basketball over the summer and into next year, I think they really are going to have a really good shot of making noise again in this league.
Yeah. Well, both Spencer Aronson and Dylan Kasarjian were named Tri-Valley League All-Stars, and both of them will be back next year for Holliston.
So that's a great start for them.
Yep.
And then the girls, they finished 8-12. Once again, a very young team. They only had one senior, and they're bringing a lot of talent back. And you know, I think Coach Keefe is expecting a lot out of them next year. So, in fact, we have a little clip here. Well,
before that, I want to mention Grace DeZindelet was the Tri-Valley League All-Star, and also the leading scorer. 21 points a game average is coming back next year.
Yeah, she'll be back again. So I'll get a little clip here and take a little look at the girls' basketball captains.
Okay, now we've got the senior and the captains of the Holliston High School girls basketball team. Going to have them introduce themselves to you right now.
My name is Tess Powers. I'm a junior captain, and I play a forward and guard.
I'm Rachel Elkinson. I'm a senior captain, and I play forward.
My name's Grace Zindelet. I'm a junior captain, and I play guard.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for being on the show. Tell us a little bit about how the basketball team did this year.
Quite better than last year. We had 8 wins this year, and last year we only had two
or three.
Yeah, so we improved a lot since last year.
Yeah, you really built up on the winning. How did you do it? What did you do differently this year? Do you just think it was you got to play more together? You're getting older. What is it?
I think we were all just really excited to start the season off, and coming off 2 wins last season, we were just ready to prove everyone wrong, and just we had everyone. We lost a few guards, but in post Tracy and Marissa, but we were excited to get back, and we had a lot of sophomores that built up over the summer, kept working on their skills, and I think we were just all really excited to prove everyone wrong.
Mm-hmm. It was very nice that we all had a season together already, so we were able to come into the season already playing together, and also I think the whole TVL, I think we were finally evenly matched up with a lot of the other teams. So
yeah, we became more cohesive this year, and we just knew how to play with each other better, and we just came together, and everything just clicked this year for us.
Do you think now carrying on, of course, you're going to miss Rachel next year, obviously, but she's really the only one, right? The only senior this year. So next year, do you think it'll be able to take the next step higher?
Next level, we hope to make tournament next year.
Yeah, more than 10 wins.
Yeah.
Very good.
You guys can do it.
What were some of the more exciting games that you had this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think by far our whole team can say that our win against Millis this year was by far the most shocking thing, and we won by 1 point, so it was a thrilling game, back and forth the whole time. But at the end, we just we pulled it out, and we just had one basket at the end that just gave us the win.
Yeah,
and it was exciting.
That whole week in general, basically we called that revenge week, because the first 2 games we played Ashland and we lost by 1 to them, and then we played Millis and we lost by 3. So going into the second time playing them, we were just we're going to beat them, we're going to get our wins in, and we won both games. So that week was just great for the team.
And Millis now is going to be playing for the state championship, right?
They won already.
Oh, they won today?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Over the weekend.
Yeah.
But now they play the Garden and stuff.
Yeah. Excellent.
Division 4, that's pretty exciting. Well, we covered that game, HCAT did, and we're talking about what's going on as the game got tight right down the stretch, one basket back and forth, and we speculate. What do you think's happening in the huddle right now with some of those timeouts down the stretch? What was going on in the huddle? What were you saying to your teammates, and what were they saying back?
Well, I remember the play that we ran in the last 5 seconds to get Gabby RB open on the block. It was the first week we had ever ran it. So Coach Keefe just kind of sat us down and was you guys need to relax, and we're going to get this in, everything's going to be okay, and just drew up the play. And we'd ran it 3 or 4 times in practice, but we knew it was going to work,
Yeah, we definitely felt a lot of pressure. So in the huddle, we just tried to remain calm, and just it was just like a bunny. It was so close to the hoop, so we knew how to make those. So we just kind of calmed everyone down and really prepared ourselves to go get the W.
Yeah, and that was one of those end of the game things. We were talking about, who's going to get the Grace, who's going to get the ball here?
That's what
and
everyone
then all of a sudden,
thought.
Gabby gets it, and it's she makes the shot.
Coach Keefe, I think he knew. They were
because everyone was triple guard, and so just left Gabby wide open.
Yeah, it worked perfectly, but sometimes that's tough as a player to be that wide open.
As a sophomore, I was really nervous.
I was inbounding the ball to her, and I just saw her get wide open, and her face looked so scared when she caught the ball. And she just I was a lot of pressure.
After the game, Coach was
I know, it must have been so relieving.
From on a scale of 1 to 10, she's 1,000.
Yeah. We're all relieved after.
Now, speaking of Coach Keefe, you guys have played with him almost all the time, right?
I've played with him all my 4 years, which is very unusual.
Right, because the way he took over last year for Coach Hedrick and everything. Mm-hmm. Interesting. You like playing for him?
Yeah, I love playing for him. He's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had in any sport. He just relates so well to us. So
yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about your favorite basketball memory from your entire career at Holliston?
I would have to say the Millis game.
Yeah.
It was just like a cherry on top of like.
Yeah.
It was the first time I think I've beaten Millis in all my 4 years at Holliston, so it was a nice way to end playing them.
Yeah, I would say that's number one, but like the close second was probably last year. It was our last game, and we played Bellingham, and we beat them by 1 point at the end, and it was just amazing. It felt like the same as the Mills game, but those are definitely the top two.
And that was on senior night,
It was
right?
senior night,
So
yeah.
that made it special.
Yeah, and it was the last
Definitely.
time. Yeah.
You, Grace?
Yeah, either Millis or Bellingham would be the top two. I think they were both close games, and we both like fought through the end, and I think they were both really good.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of wins and memories you can use going forward, because if you're hoping that things are going to really be better next year, there's going to be more tight games, down the stretch where you're going to have to play together, keep everybody calm. There's a lot of thinking that goes on, and staying calm in those crazy, busy times when the ball's flying everywhere, whistles going, and
Yeah. The last
Definitely.
2 minutes of every game that's been like that. You just have to compose yourself.
you can't
Yeah.
replicate that in practice, really. The gym's way too quiet.
Well, that is one of the things I saw. The difference between last year and this year is that you guys were playing at a faster speed, and I think you just feel more comfortable playing not only the offense you were playing and the defense you were playing, but playing with each other that extra year. I think helped a lot.
definitely.
What do you think next year? Who are you looking at next year? All three of you. You got a lot of kids coming back next year.
Yeah, so a lot of the TVL are losing their top, all of their 5 starters. I know Westwood, Millis, Hopkinton, all of their starters will be going off to college. So I think we're just looking to step up. We have we'll have 7 seniors next year, and a lot of the sophomores, and a lot of us will be playing AAU over the spring. So we're just excited to see how much we can grow as a team.
That was my next question. So AAU coming
Yeah.
up. A lot of you will you be playing tests with AAU? Or?
No, I don't do AAU in
don't
the
do-
spring, but I did last year.
And then do you play summer ball?
Ball, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do summer ball this year.
Good.
I think Coach Keefe's 3rd year coming back, I think we'll all have a really good grip on what we need to do to
And how to
get the 10
accomplish what we
wins.
want to accomplish. Yeah.
And then of course we're going to miss Rachel next year.
I know.
But with all the stuff you've done this year to help out, what are your plans for next year?
Well, I'll be going to college. I think I'm going to go to University of Maryland or University of Massachusetts, and I think I'm going to study business. So we'll just see how it plays out at either school.
Excellent. Good.
That's great. That's great. Any spring sports? You mentioned AAU. Can you do that and play spring sports here at Holliston?
Yeah, I'm gonna juggle that.
You have a driver's license. You
Yeah, I play softball in the spring, and then AAU will be once or twice a week, and then on the weekends. So it'll be busy, but it'll be good.
All right. Hopefully you don't have to do any shoveling this year. Hopefully it melts soon. All that snow we're supposed to get. How about you, Rachel?
I play lacrosse in the spring, so I'm looking forward to that.
How's the lacrosse team look?
It looks really good. We lost 9 girls, but no one that was that made our team, because everyone can step up. But we have a new coach this year, so we'll see how she changes us. And she was a goalie she played at Regis, so she can work with our goalie to make her better. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Good. And the softball team this year?
Yeah, we should be good. We have a lot of returners. I think last season was a little rough. We lost the first game into the playoff, but I think we're all excited to get back. Hopefully the snow won't stop us this time. A lot of the practices were indoor, so it kind of messed us up going into games, but I think we're all excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're playing softball too, Tess?
No, I don't do softball. We just get ready for soccer and basketball throughout the summer and the spring,
okay.
leading up to the sports. But yeah,
That's a busy enough schedule.
Yeah, I know.
We're just talking about the snowstorm that's supposed to be
I know.
tomorrow, and then senior showcase is supposed to be Wednesday and might get moved to Thursday. So crazy. But and enjoy the rest of your senior
you
year,
so
Rachel,
much.
and the rest of your school year, of course.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Enjoy it. This is it, right? The next 2 or 3 months. Enjoy it all. It's a great time. It's a great time, and you girls, we'll see you girls back.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll come back anyway to talk to
Yeah.
us after the lacrosse season.
I'll have more seniors with me this time.
Bring them in there. Thank you, girls, very much, and thank you, Rachel, for all you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
It's going to be tough leaving these kids, but next year when they're in the playoffs, just remember a little bit of that was because of you.
I'm going to come watch them when
yeah.
I'm home.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right, captains of the Holliston Panther girls basketball team.
Yeah, that girls' team next year, Tom, I'm really looking for some good things. You had mentioned about Grace and the Powers twins are coming back, and Brooke Jeffroy, and I think Kabuzel, was it Cami? Is that who it is?
Cami Kazubal.
Kazubal.
Yeah.
And who else?
Yeah, no,
they got a lot of people coming back, so they should really do a good job next year. Mm-hmm. Speaking of next year, we got some information about the Tri-Valley League from next year.
Yeah, well, it's kind of old news at this point because it was announced in the fall, but the Dedham Marauders, Dedham is going to be joining the Tri-Valley League as the 11th team. Mm-hmm. And they're going to start with all of their sports, starting with the fall 2017 season. So Panthers on all levels will be driving to Dedham, and Dedham will be heading up here.
Except for football, right?
Except for football, Dedham will be joining the Tri-Valley League small division, and Holliston won't be playing them this year.
Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of people don't realize. When I've told people about Dedham, they said, wow, they're really big. They're not. They'd be one of the smaller teams in the league.
Yeah, right.
Population-wise.
Well, and the reason they left the Bay State was because they were the smallest team in the Bay State Conference. And Bay State has some of the biggest schools. The one thing that I saw looking at an article about Norwood High School, keep an eye on them. They're voting, they're putting it before their school committee for Norwood to apply to join the Tri-Valley League as the 12th school, because they're the second lowest enrollment school in the Bay State League. And the interesting thing in the charts that they put together was showing how fast all the other communities have been growing, except for enrollment at Norwood High School and Dedham High School. And it showed even in the Tri-Valley League, it was interesting how other towns are growing. Holliston's pretty much stayed the same over the last 5-7 years, which was the period they looked at.
And Hopkinton is really
Hopkinton's
exploding.
been growing like crazy.
Yeah.
Medfield's been growing. Westwood's been growing. So a lot of changes going on in the TVL. But Norwood wouldn't be joining until 2018. But we do welcome the Dedham Marauders and look forward to I guess they're maroon and gray and white uniforms.
We get them. And speaking of changes in the Tri-Valley League, there was a change in coaching staffs at Westwood.
Right.
Coach Ed Manti is leaving Westwood and will be coaching at Framingham.
Right. So it's interesting. We might see him in the first preseason game.
Yeah. He just can't get away from Holliston.
He can't get away from Holliston. And it's going to be, I know we love talking about football, but Ed Manti's been a great coach for the Westwood Wolverines. But one interesting thing last year about Westwood is that they weren't able to field a freshman team. They didn't have enough players, and I didn't really get an understanding of why that happened. But even during the varsity year, Ed Manti talked about their numbers being down at Westwood High School, which doesn't fit with their enrollment going up.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff with football now going on that maybe some parents aren't letting the kids play as much or whatever. But I got to tell you, I mean, we talk about this in the booth when we do the games, and of course I know you, being from Holliston, the Westwood guys are, it's like Blackbeard's pirate ship or something. But he was a good coach. He was a really good coach, and he got those kids playing really hard, especially his lines. His lines. He always had that one or two skill position guys, a quarterback or wide receiver, running back. But his lines were really tough kids. So hopefully he can bring a little bit of that to Framingham. We can see Framingham go back a little more to the glory days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Holliston's glory days look to be continuing. I'm always positive about things, but looking for things in the news, Inside the Huddle, which is a website blog named Scott Elliott and Spencer Aronson, two of the top junior football players in Massachusetts, and they'll be coming back for the Panthers next year.
Yeah, and Scott actually played at the high school combine down in Dallas, and or San Antonio, I guess it was. And the word we got back was he did a very good job. He was going in as a sophomore, competing against juniors down there. So, you know, he's got the size and everything, but he's also, it seems like he's got the intelligence, the football knowledge and everything. And, of course, Spencer just being a terrific all-around athlete. You know, a couple kids that Coach Kiley, I'm sure, will hang his hat on in this coming season. And
the Panther freshman team was undefeated this past season, and all those sophomores will be joining the varsity. So stay tuned. I'm sure the Panthers are going to surprise on the football field with it. Reload. Can't wait. Yeah. But for now, this is it for today's show. I want to thank all the people who helped us here. Of course, the lovely Lisa on the camera. Dave Aronson. Yeah. Who's on the camera for us. No relation to
our baker.
Spencer. Yeah. He's a baker. The baker of bread. Jess St. George and Bruce Guilfoyle out there in the room. Nice job, Tom. Thank you very much. I want to thank Dave Dubin. I want to thank the girls from the high school basketball team, and I guess we'll be out on the Diamonds, doing a couple games on the Diamonds. You're doing on the lacrosse field. Lacrosse games, yeah. So we'll have a couple of those games for you in the future. Other than that, have a good night, everyone. Good night, everybody.